racing straight ahead. No man can do like I can. I'm the queen of the land. Haters gonna hate. Won't be sorry now. Shoot me down, but I'll rise again. I'm laying down the law and you've been served. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Whether you're ready. As you stand upon the edge, hanging in the balance, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums ringing. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. Taste of destiny you're searching for. Awaken, awaken, awaken.
Welcome in, everybody. It is time once again for some CIL action. The Collegiate iRacing League is back for its 12th season, kicking off here in just a couple minutes with the Clash. It'll be the Riverhead 100 that'll be getting going in a little bit here. Welcome to the Ignition Zone pre-race show. Excited for all of y'all to join us here tonight. I'm Alex Gagnon. Alongside me tonight, Brad Daniels. And it'll be time for the Clash here in Lanier in just a little bit. Brad, first of all, welcome back. You know, it's been about a month or so since we've had the opportunity to sit up here and cover some Collegiate iRacing League action, and now here we are once again, Season 12, getting geared up, ready to go. One an exciting time.
Exactly. I mean, we're here, season 12. It felt like it was only yesterday that we were back in Vegas, and you know the break went by really fast. But we're back here for the Clash here at a very, very unique track, especially with these cars. So can't wait to see what happens today, and especially to kick off season 12.
Yeah, you know, being at Lanier should be a fun one. These cars not particularly designed to be here. We'll do a little bit of old school short track racing here with these next gen cup cars, as we've come to get to know and appreciate them over the past couple seasons here in the CIL. But I think it's worth noting this is the first time that we've had the opportunity to chat with the folks at home since the new schedule has come out for season 12. So let's take a look at that and see what people can have to look forward to this year. Let me tell you, an interesting schedule to say the least. Some tracks that we're not used to seeing, and some tracks still on the calendar but moved around to different dates.
As you can see here, I mean, we pretty much have a good, you know, a wide variety of courses throughout this season, and you can see really within that final, the 4 tracks at the end there. I mean, Iowa, Kentucky, Chicago Street Course, Bristol, and you know, all of these tracks really outside of Auto Club, we can see a wide variety happen everywhere. And I think Auto Club as the finale is going to be a crazy race nonetheless, because I feel like we always have great racing at Auto Club.
Yeah, Auto Club, historically one of the great CIL staples over the years. First time, though, it'll ever be the host of the final race of the season. A champion will potentially be crowned there. Why do I say potentially? Well, Bit of a different points format for this year, but we'll get into that in just a moment. While we're still on the schedule, want to highlight a couple of things, most notably the Chicago Street Course making its first appearance in CIL CIL Oval, like the College Cup Series competition this year, down there on April 7th. That should be a fun one. A return to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in these Cup cars, first time in a long time. That'll be a fun one, and of course, Daytona, in comparison to where it would be loosely on the NASCAR schedule. I think it'll be fun. New Hampshire, second race of the year, I think it's going to be a really interesting one. That is not a track or even a style of track that we've seen a whole lot of College Cup Series racing on.
And I really think that, I mean, it is a kind of a flip from last season. I feel like the end of the season had more like driver-centric courses. So like Charlotte, New Hampshire, Chicagoland, Homestead, Miami, those four in themselves kind of have their own, I feel like their own kind of skill set, their own feel to them. And it's going to be a real test for these drivers to start the season. And after that, you see, I mean, like you said, Daytona and New Atlanta, those courses we saw in the past seasons have a lot of chaos, a lot of, anything can happen, really.
Yeah, it's a really interesting mix that we'll see over the course of this. But a fun schedule to be sure, and it kicks off tonight with the one exhibition race of the year here at Lanier Speedway. And that'll be going in just a little bit, time counting down, competitors on track, trying to get their practice laps in. Some new faces that'll be joining the league, some returning faces, and some looking to try and improve on last year's result. But, Brad, we alluded to it a minute ago. One of the big changes for Season 12, the change to go back to a full season points system. The past couple of years, we have been using the current NASCAR model of the playoff format. That being said, a lot of the drivers voiced their thoughts with the league. At the end of every season, drivers get together, talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what they'd like to see from the league. And the overwhelming majority went to the league and said, hey, we'd love to do either a chase style or a full season point system. And now we're back to the full series points, very reminiscent of like let's say like a 2003, 2004 era, or probably, like a 2003 Winston Cup Series schedule, where every race is going to matter as much as the one before it. And it's going to reward consistency more than anything else this year.
Yeah, and not having any playoffs, no rounds. Everyone is ready and to go at the beginning of the season to try and make their way to the finale at Auto Club. And I think this is going to show who can consistently be there at the end of the race each and every week. And also there's some new points going to be given out for qualifying, hot laps, and even leading the most amount of laps. So like you said, Alex, I mean, reminiscent of a 2003-2004 season. Really, I mean, the point system is going to be a whole change from what we saw in the previous couple seasons, really.
Yeah, and this will be one of those things where I'm sure the drivers will be doing their homework a little bit, not to add to the amount that I'm sure they already have, being, for most of them, an active college student. But, you think back to that 2003 season, and, the two big names of that year was obviously Matt Kenseth's winning the title with only one win, but a crazy amount of top fives, top tens. That consistency got him there. And on the other side of that coin, a lot of the reason of why people think that system changed after that year, Ryan Newman won 8 races, but also DNF'd a ton of them, and ultimately didn't walk home with the title despite, 8 wins the Kenseth's won. And we could see that exact situation play out this season, where in years past you really couldn't. We could see someone go out there, 14 race slate, they could go and win, 6 of them. But if they DNF like half the season, it's probably not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. You could see someone only put together a 1 or 2 win season, but if they just are in the top 5 week in, week out, they'll be finding the big money at the end of the year.
I think to shine some light on that, I mean, last season we saw Mario Miranda have a great beginning of the season, and then it kind of tapered off middle of the season, and he had that resurgence at the end. But I mean, Jared Kaler, you could also see that he was, Mr. Consistency, all the 4th place finishes, everything going throughout the season, the 1 win, and making it to the championship for last season as well. And I really think in that situation with the current point system, you could see Kaler above Miranda. But, there's some newcomers coming and some old drivers coming back to try and challenge for this new point system championship.
Some former champions as well. Not only, obviously, we got to celebrate former multi-time champion Jared Kaler coming back last season full-time. This year, potentially more of the same. Sounds like Matthew Morton, fresh off of appearing as a free agent for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, will be joining us for this year. Multi-time champion historically in this series. So the competition is going to be incredibly difficult this year. I mean, there is some incredibly talented drivers, and we're going to be talking to one of those in just a second. It'll be the regular season champ from last year joining us, driver from Clemson. It'll be Andrew Williams. Let's pull him into the booth here. Hey there, Drew. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, another season is upon us here. It is just about time for season 12 to get going. And you know just as well as Brad and I do up here in the booth, we've all been around for a couple years at this point, that this is always the most exciting part of the year when the anticipation's at its highest. What are you expecting from this year, getting ready for, granted it is the Clash, but the first real event of the season?
Yeah, I think this year is definitely going to be a page turn for the entire league. I think we've got a lot of really good changes coming. I think in particular the removal of playoffs should tone down the aggression a bit on track. I know we had a lot of driver and viewer complaints last season that guys were getting a little bit too rowdy. So I think some changes like that should definitely lead to a higher focus on season-long competition. So we should see some great battles, kind of longer storylines, so to speak. I think last season, while very exciting, we had a new thing happening every 20 minutes on track. So that didn't really allow storylines to build. I think that'll be an interesting change, having more weeks for stuff to play out.
And I mean, it seems like yesterday when we were back at Vegas here, but what have you been doing since season 11 finale here? Do you think, have you made any big changes, do you think, to you in Clemson, or do you think, you'll be Mr. Consistency this season and get that title?
Unfortunately, no big changes for me. Kind of celebrating the alumni championship win. I had our great CSC director, Ryan Whitlock, whip up a new scheme for me that y'all see on stream tonight. But outside of a new paint scheme, no big changes, no big practice. Kind of just spent the Christmas with family, recovering from some sickness, and getting the league ready for this next go at it. But no, me as a driver, very little preparation. So pretty anxious to get on it. I know we've got a really competitive field, so I'm hoping to be able to stick with my old pace, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to grab something.
Well, you're always, it feels like, in the mix, which always keeps it entertaining, whether that is on a boatload of practice or coming fresh off of a nice break. I'm sure you are not the only one who got to enjoy the extended break. I know I did. Barely did any casting between the end of last year and the start of this one, so it's been nice to take a bit of time to reset. But back as far as things that are happening on track here, obviously new slate of tracks, new schedule for this year when it came out. Is there any track in particular that you're excited about, either as a driver or as part of the CIL admin team, is like a new experience that people will get to see the league try and put on?
I think the addition of the Chicago Street Course, kind of late in our season, will be a fantastic race definitely for the viewers, because there's going to be a lot of action. But also for the drivers, as I think you're going to get to see them build on, I've had 8 or so weeks of points build up. I'm battling these guys. I don't want to mess up. So I'm going to put a lot of practice in to make sure I can nail this road course. I think that'll be a very interesting race to watch, and definitely one I have circled on my personal schedule as, hey, this is a track that I've personally had a good bit of success at, and I hope I can put something together there and maybe gain some points on my less road course adverse opponents.
When it comes to stock car racing, it's always a coin flip on who's got it and who doesn't at those road courses. Then you make it a street course that the CIL has never raced at as far as the cup cars are concerned, and it's a whole different animal. I agree with you. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. Drew, while you're up here, anyone you'd like to shout out before we get going for the Clash?
Of course, I want to give a huge thanks to each and every one of our drivers that keep showing up week in and week out. I know we lost some faces from last season and we gained some new ones, and I'm I'm just super thankful to anybody who stuck around this long, especially the guys who've been running 5, 6, 7 seasons by now. Y'all are the bread and butter of this league, and we can't keep operation without you. So yeah, just a huge thanks to everybody that shows up for every one of these. I know it's a pretty small field tonight, but I mean a huge thanks to every single one of them, because they're coming when we're doing a weird race at a little silly track in Georgia, and we still have a decent sized field. So yeah, just so thankful for all the drivers.
And we will see you and the rest of that field get underway in just a little bit here. We'll let you get going so you can work on qualifying in just a couple minutes. Drew, thanks so much for popping up, and best of luck tonight and this season.
All right, thanks so much. You too.
That was Drew Williams, the alumni champion from last year and the driver from Clemson University, longtime staple, part of the admin team here for the CIL. He sounds ready to go, Brad, and I think we're just about ready to do the same. So, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break while we get things ready to go to kick off the Clash at Lanier tonight. You won't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Welcome in, everybody. We just got to chat with you a minute ago in the pre-race show, but it is finally time for some racing in the Garage Shop College Cup Series once again. The Riverhead 100, the Clash event at Lanier Raceway, should be fun. Old school short track racing back, if for no other time than a little bit of exhibition race. Time to knock off the rust and get back into racing form with absolutely no room to operate against some of the toughest competitors that college iRacing has to offer. Brad, got to say hello to you a little bit ago in the pre-race show, but I can't stress enough just how nice it is to be back. We're here once again, and with the dawn of a new season, all the stories reset from the prior year, all the disappointments or the celebrations from last year, anything from last year kind of comes back to a neutral point, and this is when all the anticipation's at its highest, all of the preparations at its highest, everyone getting ready with new optimism and new life for this new season. It's just the best.
Yeah, exactly right, Alex. I mean, this season has so much opportunity and so many new storylines that can be built from all the new drivers, Matthew Morton coming back, to even more drivers coming back, such as Athena Leclerc, we haven't seen in a minute. And I think this track is, you said everyone's going to be getting the rust off, everyone's going to be getting their elbows out, I think, tonight. I mean, I know it's the Clash, no points, but it's short track racing. We're going to see a lot of people get really loose here if we've seen that in practice. And I think we're really just going to see everyone trying to make sure they can consistently put down the laps at this not even a half-mile track.
Yeah, it is going to be a very, very likely chance we see a little bit of bumper cars out there. I mean, this is a really tight track. It is the epitome of what short track racing can be. There's not going to be a whole lot of real estate out there. And I'd imagine we'll see a couple of cars bump into each other, a little beating and banging. Maybe a little bit of tempers flaring here or there, but hopefully nothing too crazy, as it is just an exhibition race. No points on the line this evening. But while we've got a second, I want to do a quick shout out to all the people who make this league possible, because without their support, it is simply not feasible to keep this league going the way it does. So big shout, especially to the Garage Shop. These guys, main sponsor last year, back again this year. The Race Car Fabrication Company, building some of the fastest and most unique cars, trucks, and off-road vehicles. Their mission is simple: to honor the racers who came before us and to put our competitors behind us. You can visit thegarageshop200.com for more information. Thank you so much to the Garage Shop for once again being the season-long partner of the College Cup Series. ECAC Esports, once again, back to exist value to its member schools by enhancing the competitive experience for hundreds of students seeking to participate in intercollegiate esports. The McConey Setup Shop, the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more. The official setup shop of VNASCAR and the Collegiate iRacing League. You can visit the McConeySetupShop.com to subscribe today. And of course, Whiplash SimCams, an iRacing and esports media group specializing in racing and team graphics, iRacing camera packs, and other broadcasting resources. So I want to thank all four of them for making this series possible, plus all the folks at home tuning in for what should be another great season here. I can't say enough how excited it is that we are back once again, ready to rock and roll. There are a couple of new faces. I'm looking at the board. We'll get into qualifying in just a second here, Brad, but I'm seeing 1,000th of a second separating the top two, 8,000ths of a second separating the top three right now. I mean, it is going to be tight to try and win the pole here tonight at Lanier. Man, yeah. It's going to be a wild time.
And I mean, even though this isn't points paying, I think there's even more stress on the drivers to be good, great qualifiers, because there's now points associated with it. So, yeah, I mean, this is a true, what is that? Not even 800ths of a second between first and sixth. So, I mean, you really can't get away from anyone if you're within the top 10, really.
No, you really can. It's so tight at the moment. Obviously, qualifying still ongoing. We'll do a little bit of heat racing tonight, with it being the Clash. We're not going to try and send everyone out there all at once, but if the with the field size we have at the moment, might be a situation where actually we do see everyone. I'm looking at it. We have just about the race cap for what could transfer to the main event. So I actually think we may not need to worry about an LCQ tonight. We will see. Producer Christian, do we have a qualifying video we can show the folks at home? Oh, right, yes. Before we get that far, let's take a look at actually where we're racing tonight before we look at the cars on track here. Brad, take us through Linear National Speedway a little bit.
Well, you know, it's the shortest track we're going to be at. Definitely, I can tell you that with any points-paying race. If, you know, tonight's going to be a very fast one. As you see, it's 3/8 of a mile here at Lanier. You know, 4 turns open in 1982. Hosted some Xfinity racing in the past, but I mean, this track, you're not going to see a lot of fast racing. It's just going to be a lot of moving pieces really quickly. And as you can see, this is the first ever time really a Cup car or us have been to Lanier here in Brazelton, Georgia. So one thing also, I mean, the Caffeine and Octanes Lanier Raceway is a legendary name.
It's incredible. That its current name, and let me tell you, iconic. And it's truly just one of those places I think will be a ton of fun to watch these big, heavy stock cars try and muscle their way around. And speaking of muscling their way around this track, now I believe it's time for a little bit of a qualifying video. So we'll take a look at the car on track here. On board with Matthew Morton, Ohio State University, currently the winningest driver in the history of the Garage Shop College Cup Series. 15 points-paying victories to his name. Maybe a Clash win in there as well, but the Ohio State machine back on track here, and you see the old school short track racing, Brad. Get to the corner, hug the bottom, make this place as short as possible.
Yeah, and as you can tell, I mean, Alex, before you could even get through, you know, Matthew Morton's statistics and accolades, you're already done with the lap, and we're already done here with lap 2. So you can see, really, these guys are going to be trying to hold that low line and keep it as, you know, consistent as possible, not try to, you know, bring the car out to the second lane here. As you see Matthew Morton just diving it in there, coming through 3 and 4, and just flying out of turn 4, narrowly missing that wall. And that was a sub 14-second lap at 13.999 to infinity.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he needed every bit of that because he out-qualified Clint Alterman by 1,000th of a second. And let me tell you, Clint, not super happy about that in a joking way. He's just I saw he threw in chat, very rude of Morton to out-qualify me by 1,000th of a second, which I empathize. I mean, I would be pretty pissed about that too. But I think it's just about time we actually take a look at the grid tonight. We'll see who... Well, we actually still have about a minute or two of qualifying, so we will not be taking a look at the grid just yet. It's always a little tough the first race of the year. Nothing really to lean on from the race prior, you know, everything's so new, so fresh. But I suppose we have an opportunity. We can actually do a quick look at, you know, what we're getting into tonight if we want to do like a race analysis kind of deal. Let's throw that up on the screen so we get an idea of what we're looking at this evening. So Brad, if we get to the when we get to the feature race tonight, it is the Riverhead 100, but that is for the 100 laps. You weren't kidding when you said that this place wasn't even a half a mile. 3/8. It'll be 37.5 miles from start to finish here. That is about as far as it is for me to drive from here to the other side of Orlando. So not a whole lot of physical distance covered, but a whole lot of action going to happen in that time.
Yeah, and I mean, as you can tell, the fuel window is definitely not going to play a factor here, as it's just out there. So, you know, 100 laps here, they might go quick depending on how many cautions fall tonight. But again, tire sets available, only one within these 37.5 miles. I mean, that might not seem like an incredible amount of tire sets, but I mean, going 18 miles, I know we usually go by laps, but 18 miles on a set might be a little tough for some of these drivers if they get a little loose and, end up getting those tires a little dirty.
Yeah, all it takes is flat spotting them a couple times into the corner before you're going to really start protesting the amount of heat that's built up in them. I'm going to put on something fresh. So we could see a couple takers, I think, trying to get some new tires on. Obviously, the goal will be trying to stretch it the whole way, but we'll see who does and who doesn't. So, with that, it'll be just about time to take a look at tonight's starting grid. The Riverhead 100 from Lanier Raceway grid coming up on your screen right now. And by 1,000th of a second, it is going to be Matthew Morton from Ohio State. He'll be on the pole tonight. Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte running a 14 even. Just not enough. 1,000th off here. Just making up the front row. Row 2, it'll be Edward Sanchez from Baruch College. Breakout season last year for the 26 machine. He'll roll off third. And a returning Athena Leclerc from St. Clair College. Welcome back to the CCS grid. Rolling off fourth here tonight in the 61. Rolling off in fifth position tonight, Jake Cummings from Converse University, one of the multi-time winners last season in the 95. Alumni champion Drew Williams rolls off to his outside in sixth. In row 4 tonight, it'll be Zach DeWale from St. Clair College, multi-time winner in this series, and Alex Hallinar, who does some short track racing in real life. Will that give him an edge tonight? And in row 5, it'll be Jared Kaler, the multi-time champ from years past, alongside Drexel's Jason Wallet.
And looking here, who made it outside of the top 10. Garrett Vighton from ASU, returning number 55 to his outside. Michael James from Drexel University, teammate to Jason Wallet. Starting up in 13th, we have Cade Corbin from the University of Alabama, Huntsville. And to his outside, Andrew Burrell from Clemson. In 15th, Ricky Paz from East Carolina University. Alongside of him is Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso. And rounding out your field tonight, Lucas Moody, who impressed a lot of us last season from Ball State, in 17th, and Adrian Tubakovic from St. Clair in 18th.
So I do believe they're going to try and move past here. This is technically the LCQ, but all of these cars will transfer to the main event. So I'm not sure if they're going to let this thing go the full way or if they're going to try and advance the session once it gets going. We'll call it as we see it. So right now, it'll be Michael James, Garrett Vighton up at the front, and a lot of action already deeper in the field. Cars switching spots, Moody's up too.
I think they were 4 wide coming out of 2 there. I mean, it's a short track, but doesn't mean that, you can use all the surface here. You can see there's multiple lanes, and you could definitely see some, 4 wide racing here tonight. So you see Ricky Paz is battling to the inside. Lucas Moody. Moody's able to get in front, and now it's 3 wide going down the front stretch.
Oh, 3 wide. They're going to squeeze. They all make contact through 1 and 2. Up the hill goes Ethan Decatur. Ricky Paz and Cade Corbin going to take the spot in the ECU machine, trying to clear the 08 from Alabama Huntsville.
Oh!
Ooh, contact! Decatur and Corbin into the wall. Corbin into the wall. No caution, though, as no one was coming, so iRacing didn't trigger the yellow. But that is devastating for Cade Corbin. Luckily for him, everyone will be advancing to the tail end of the field for the main event tonight, but not going to do him any favors there now, sitting in 17th. It looked like the 111 got to the right rear, although I don't know if it was because of a discrepancy in line or something else. We'll have to go and take another look at it here in a minute.
But you can see as Garrett Vighton, Michael James, Andrew Burrell make up your top 3 right now. You can see Burrell on your screen from Clemson, consistently using that bottom line, trying to track down Michael James. James has a little bit of work to do. He's right now 8/10 behind Garrett Vighton, but Vighton's trying to pull away and make sure he gets that 11th starting spot.
So here's one quick look here at the situation between Cade Corbin and Ethan Decatur. You see the 08 to the inside of the 111 in 3 and 4. And it comes up here, coming out of 2. Oh, and the 111 just gets so loose coming off of 4. Right into the corner of the 08. Doesn't look like he tried doing that, but it looked like he nearly lost the car coming off the corner. And unfortunately for Cade Corbin, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time when Decatur started losing it.
And it was, yeah, just the absolute worst part of the car to hit that right rear, sending him into the wall. Currently, Cade Corbin still on the lead lap, but just trying to, make his way. And, he will be potentially 17th going into the final heat here. You can see that everyone is strung out. It's a single file line. Everyone's, at a short track, and especially not typically with these next gen cars, but sometimes you'll see a lot of this spaced out racing at these short tracks, and a lot of consistency goes into that. And as you see, Lucas Moody is going to try and have to do that if he wants to get anywhere near the top 3 here.
Yeah, so right now, Garrett Vighton, every lap opening up just by a couple hundredths or so over Michael James. Could jump on board with the ASU Sun Devils machine here. Looking off the tail, and you can see that's Michael James at Drexel just behind him. And every lap, he seems to just be getting a little bit of a better exit than the 199 or the 99 car is, and it's starting to open up a gap just a little bit every corner they go by. Just continues to stretch it a bit. The two of them though pulling away from Andrew Burrell, and Burrell's going to maybe start having company soon from Lucas Moody if he's not careful. That 13 machine was bad fast last year, and he is reeling in the Clemson machine.
And we saw really all Ball State have a supreme second half of the season, and I think Moody's trying to kick off this start of the season 12 with a, even though it's a first heat, a potential top 3 finish. So you can see Ricky Potts is also here trying to battle his way up to the top 3. But right now we have our eyes set on Andrew Burrell, Lucas Moody, as Moody is slowly but surely tracking down the Clemson machine.
Yeah, you see he is within a car length now of the 121. However, catching a car on a short track is one thing. Finding a way past is entirely another. As you see, Moody almost lost it there, but gets to the inside of the 121. Got a nose in there through 1 and 2. Is he going to be able to keep it here? Oh, just a little bit of contact. Big slide for the 13. Lost a ton of speed. And all that ground that Lucas Moody made up over the past 15 laps evaporated. But he's lucky he didn't end up in the inside wall when those two came together.
And I mean, for Lucas Moody, he's now going to have those tires a little bit overheated, a little flat spot on him from, sliding through turn 2, I believe. So he is going to have to worry about that in the following laps. But let's take a look back here. He's to the inside of Andrew Burrell. To, close racing at short tracks, it's going to happen. And as you could tell, Moody sends it way to the inside here. Burrell tries to keep him down, and Moody just goes right up into him. A little, and you can tell the wheels keep going. He doesn't really lock it down, so those tires actually won't be that flat spotted.
Yeah, no, he kept it going. It was a good save. He did lose out to Ricky Paz, and Ricky Paz now going to be forcing the issue on Andrew Burrell. He's going to try and make his way up in the third. Let's see if the 19 has anything for the 121 here in 1 and 2. He's running about half a lane lower than Burrell is that time around. Was not able to get a nose to the inside, and Ricky just watched that exchange between Burrell and Moody. Got to imagine that's playing into how he wants to approach this as well, as he almost got to the back bumper there and won.
And we've already seen at this race, this track, it's easy to lose the car, and as I think Ricky's going to have to take it pretty easy coming out of these turns, if he's going to set up a move. And even though, at road courses, the long tracks of the CCS, it might be the short tracks, you also have to set up these moves. As you see, Ricky is now looking to the outside, but as we have Garrett Vighton up here at the lead, stretching his lead out to almost a 1.5 seconds, and looking to lap potentially Cade Corbin.
Yeah, Cade Corbin just trying to hold on to the tail end of the lead lap right now. It's been a very difficult go for the 08 so far. Just trying to hang in there in front of Garrett Vighton, who's opened up a 1.5 second lead over Michael James. Again, this is the LCQ. Everyone here, though, going to make it to the main event. This is just a matter of seeding positions 11 through 17 and a good way for these drivers to maybe get a few extra laps in, get a little bit more comfortable with the race car before they get on track here for the main event. You see now Viton gets right up to the back bumper of the 08, and will lap traffic play a factor in Michael James trying to reel in the leader?
Well, it doesn't look like as Garrett Viton gets the inside of Cade Corbin for the moment. Corbin's going to let him through easily, knowing his car's a little damaged. I mean, it's hard for Cade right now. I mean, he took that hard hit into the outside wall, and now he's just hoping to keep it consistent and potentially, get some sort of positions here through maybe a wreck or so.
So you see Viton gets on by. Michael James reeled in about a tenth or two as the 55 was battling with the 08. However, that is not going to be enough. You see Corbin got super loose off of 4, lost a ton of ground. And we jump back here to the battle between Burl and Paz. The front end of Ricky Paz's car is missing. What's happening to the 19?
Typically iRacing doesn't have these type of glitches or anything, so I think Ricky might have got a little, I don't even know, his whole front end is gone, so I don't know how you hit that and also stay within a second of Burl.
I'm hearing drivers in the chat trying to call a debris caution in turn 1. Perhaps something happened with the 19 there. Obviously, not a concern actually for these cars, the debris, but maybe Ricky Paz either got a piece of the wall, a piece of Andrew Burl. Who knows? The 121 looks fine. So I don't know what has happened to Ricky Paz here, but he is running one step away from a modified here, which actually might fit this kind of track even better.
I mean, this track is suited for those guys and also go-karting, and there's also burnout duels, which is an interesting competition. I've never seen one, or did I ever think they were, at a racetrack like Lanier. So I guess Ricky Paz is going to try and track down Andrew Burl now. And, as we've been talking, we're almost to lap 40.
Yeah, we are closing in on the tail end of this one. There'll be 12 laps to go next time by when Viton hits the stripe. And again, this is for seeding of the main event, positions 11 through 17. Garrett Viton looks to be in good control here of holding on to that 11th spot. Michael James 2.5 back. Andrew Burl almost 5 back here with Ricky Paz still trying to track him down. And as this has been going on, Lucas Moody has gotten back within a second of Paz. I don't know if he has enough time to catch him, but he might at least try and make it a little bit interesting between the 3 of them here as we watch the laps tick away, getting ready for our main event tonight.
I mean, there's going to be a good bit more action. I mean, with 10 more cars here in the second part of tonight. So I think no matter what, there's been no cautions. That's why this race has been, pretty much within, about 15, 20 minutes here.
So once again, we're seeing Moody reel in the 19. That will be the battle for 4th if Moody can get there. The 19's looking like it's having a little bit of a tough time right now. And you see Lucas Moody's cut that gap down from a second to half a second. And he might have something here for 4th before this is said and done. Moody was able to get that spot on the opening lap of the race when, to your point, Brett, they went 4 wide down the back straightaway. And he might have an opportunity to try and reclaim that after that contact with Burl.
I think you're definitely right. I mean, it looks like Ricky Paz has been missing some of these corners. I don't know if that's because of the damage or just some, didn't brake fast enough. But right now, it's let Lucas Moody join the party for this 4th place position. Looking out back of Ricky Paz's machine, you can see Lucas Moody just ever so slightly gaining, and now up to the back bumper of the 19.
Oh, little bit of contact as Moody tries to fight his way to the inside of Paz. The 19 trying to hold on to it on the outside. A little bit more contact as they move up the hill. But Moody's going to take that spot away. That was classic short track. Just give him a little bit of a nudge, push him up a lane and see what happens. And now Paz back to the inside. He's not trying to give up that spot unless he can say something about it. 2 laps to go. Garrett Viton's going to take this one as far as the LCQ. All eyes right now on this battle for 4th.
You can see Moody sends it in there deep and is able to close off Ricky Paz's path, as now has firm control of that 4th place position. And I really think, Ricky Paz is going to have to use that bumper if he wants that one position on track when this next session starts. You see Andrew Burrell is now back in the fight as Ricky Paz goes around.
The 19 lost it out of turn 4. So instead of rolling off 15th, he could be rolling off 16th or 17th. He's trying to get the car situated. Garrett Vighton will win the LCQ, and he'll be qualifying 11th tonight in this one. Rest of the field being set now: Michael James, Andrew Burrell, Lucas Moody, and then I think it's going to be Ethan Decatur who slides ahead of Ricky Paz at the last moment. Only thing saving Paz from falling to 17th, the fact that Corbin was already one lap down.
Vighton takes his position in winner's circle of the LCQ, but now he's got a bigger task in passing the 10 who were faster than him in qualifying.
Yeah, so we'll have a couple minutes of warm-up on track, so I think this is a perfect time for us to step aside to a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the coverage of the main event tonight, the Riverhead 100. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
We are back, and we are about a minute away from the start of the main event. 100 laps here at Linear Raceway, the Riverhead 100. Just watch that LCQ. Brad, what thoughts did you have from the opening 50 laps, seeing a couple cars on track here? What do you think these drivers are going to be experiencing and fighting out there over this longer run?
Well, I think they're going to be battling the track mainly. I mean, we saw a lot of cars get loose, while they're battling. I mean, when we saw everyone in a single file row, it was really just about consistency, hitting your marks. But once it became a two-wide battle, we saw a lot of people start messing it up. The throttle control became a little crazy, and we saw a lot of contact because of it. So I think we're going to see a lot more contact based upon just how the track is itself with these next-gen cars. But also, as the closing laps come, people are going to get more desperate. And even though, tonight won't have any sort of real points to it, it's definitely going to be entertaining.
Oh, there is no doubt about that. Especially when we get this full field out there. Only 17 cars ready to rock and roll. The warm-up has just wrapped up. So here is the full grid tonight. We got to go through it kind of at the start of this, but here is the updated one after the LCQ. Just in case we have any late joiners. Up at the front, as we mentioned, it'll be Matthew Morton and Clint Halterman. Morton out-qualified Halterman by 1,000th of a second earlier. It'll be a fun front row to watch. Row 2, Edward Sanchez, Athena Leclerc. Leclerc making her first appearance in the CIL, or at least in the College Cup Series, in, I think, a couple seasons. Jake Cummings from Converse, Drew Williams from Clemson, that third row. This is all the part that we got to see at the start of it. Zach DeWale, Alex Hallinar in row 4, the Binghamton machine, looking to do some damage there from the 8th position. And then Jared Kaler, Jason Wallet, the top 10. And then, Brad, this is where results may have shifted slightly from the LCQ.
Yeah, and the two people that didn't shift, Garrett Vighton starting 11th and Michael James in 12th. Those two were fast the whole past 50 laps. Going into row 7, Andrew Burrow from Clemson. To his outside, Lucas Moody. Now in row 8, you saw Ethan Decatur and from Valparaiso, and to his outside, Ricky Paz from ECU. And rounding out your field tonight, Cade Corbin, who we saw getting that incident from the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and Adrian Tobakovic from St. Clair.
And that is the full field for this one. It'll be 17 cars ready to roll here. Going to be a little bit busier on track than that LCQ with the 7. A lot less room to hide when you've got 2.5 times as many cars out there as you did in the LCQ. Lights are off on the pace car. Is going to peel down to the pit lane right about now. Field gridded up, and for the first time in season 12, the green flag's in the air. The Riverhead 100's underway.
Matthew Morton gets out to a great jump. As you can see, Clint Holtzman's immediately under fight from Edward Sanchez. The Baruch College machine is trying to follow up that impressive last season, and is now going to try out for second, which it looks like he's gonna, as Jake Cummings gets a little contact in this around in turn 1.
Whoa, and everyone trying to scatter, but they weren't going to be able to do it in time. And there are more cars wrecking here. That was getting dicey. Everyone tried splitting around Jake Cummings, who got turned right into the middle of the corner. The first couple rows were able to avoid him, and that wasn't the case for everybody. The 95 already back behind the wall, getting repairs done. Heavy damage to Jake Cummings in the Converse University machine.
That had a lot of movement throughout the field. You could see everyone's still too wide. Jake Cummings to the inside of Athena Leclerc here, but I think, going through the replay here, you can still see everyone's still stacked up. Cummings is able to get past Athena, and as you see going into turn 1 here, Clint Holtzman tries to move down in front of him, and that's just not enough clearance. Jake Cummings ends up on the wrong side of it and goes around.
Yeah, and obviously this is an exhibition race. Oh, heavy contact there for Burrell. Michael James ends up in the wall as well. I'll say this is the exhibition race, so this won't count for points in the grand scheme of things, but knowing both Clint and Jake, they are both competitors to the core. So I can't imagine this will be something that is like just easily brushed off. They will definitely be remembering that as this season goes on. Again, just for the exhibition, just for fun, but always something you got to consider when racing around, folks. You're like, oh, back at the Clash, last time I was running next to this person, we had a bit of a problem. So I'm sure they will have to get that one sorted out. But the field stacked up, ready to go. Once again, pace car going to peel off. It'll be Morton and Sanchez on the launch. The 26 did not get a great launch here, and Halterman already to the inside as we're back under green.
Halterman gets a little loose coming out of 2 there. As you can see, he's able to maintain the car, stay underneath the Baruch machine, and is now nose to nose. As you see, there's some more action back in the field. A lot of movement happening right now, but Clint Halterman getting right back to the bumper of Matthew Morton, is now going to be able to take that second place for the moment. Right now, it looks like Clint's going to be stuck behind Morton, which is going to keep Edward Sanchez in the fight, but Sanchez is going to have to concede second place and is now under fight from Athena Leclerc.
A great move. Sanchez lost it. Sanchez lost it off at 2. He's into the inside wall. Heavy damage for the 26. And he's going to try and rejoin the field here, but he falls all the way down the 16th. I was just about to say he had a great job merging into third there just in front of the 61. And then came off at turn 2 and almost lost, or he did lose the thing. It ended up in the fence. So Morton, Halterman, Leclerc, your top 3. Here comes Alex Hallinar on the move. The Binghamton machine already up to P5. He's in this battle with Zach DeWale for that 5th position. Garrett Vighton hot on his heels as well. That 55 machine wasting no time. The winner of the LCQ working his way toward the top 5 as well.
And I mean, Alex Hallinar has the experience with these short tracks, so he is using it to his advantage definitely to break into the top 5. But Garrett Vighton, we saw was fast that whole LCQ and is now using it to get the 6th position. Zachary DeWale just is stuck on the outside line here. GC now is able to get into the inside line as Lucas Moody and Jared Kaler are battling out for 8th. It looks like they've had some contact, I think, throughout these last couple of laps.
And you see some double wide just behind them. Lucas Moody, Zach DeWale. Oh, cars around. Cautions out. Cade Corbin into the fence. Ricky Paz and Cade Corbin, I think, came together somewhere in turns 1 and 2. Sounds like there may have been a bit of a stack up that led to the 19 getting into the 08.
Looking at the replay here, I mean, yep, that Ethan Decatur right in front. Cade Corbin has to check up a little bit, and it results Ricky Paz going right through the back end of Cade Corbin. And you see him go around, but it doesn't look like he has too much damage, really. Going back, setting this whole thing up, you can see Ethan Decatur smokes it a little bit going into 3. Cade Corbin has to take evasive maneuver, check up a little bit, and it's just a domino effect from there. You can see Ethan Decatur also goes around, but almost goes around. But Cade Corbin is really the only one that had any type of negative effects from all that.
The 08 did a good job to keep it off the wall for the most part, so no real significant damage. It's not been a particularly kind visit to Lanier so far for the 08 Cade Corbin. He's had himself a bit of an adventure. Him and Ethan Decatur both, and Ricky Paz, all 3 of them really have had some fun times. So we're looking at this front group here, and that 3rd row is where my eyes are drawn to, Brad. Alex Hallinar and Garrett Vighton. Couple of names I'm really keeping an eye on here. Alex Hallinar with the real-life experience on the short tracks, and Vighton, winner of the LCQ, already up 5 spots. Pace car peels off. Morton will launch him into turn 1, and a good start here from a surging Clint Halterman as they go 3 wide behind him.
Alex Hallinar, I mean, both of the drivers you were watching for in this 3 wide battle is now Hallinar is going to be able to battle for 3rd now on the inside of Andrew Williams. Drew Williams, we talked to him before the race and is now still stuck up here in the top 3, but it looks like Hallinar's trying to change that as he's trying to break into the top 3. Lucas Moody right behind in the inside of Athena Leclerc. Garrett Vighton right now is stuck to the outside as well, but there's a lot going on here, Alex.
Yeah, there is a lot of double wide action here as you see the 057 and the 100. Going to continue to duke it out for third. More side-by-side action deeper in the field. Kaler inviting door-to-door for the 7th position just behind him. You see the Binghamton car trying to get clear of Clemson, but Drew Williams doing a great job on the outside right now, trying to hold on to it as Ethan Decatur flying into the fence in turn 3. He is facing the wrong way. I think him and Ricky Paz got together.
Definitely. I think these two have had enough here at Lanier. It seems like they have a little bit of damage here from, the LCQ, but I think they're going to try and rebound after this one. We'll see what happens to Ethan Decatur. Going into turn 3 and 4 here, you see Ricky Paz to the inside, Ethan Decatur on the outside. We're going, well, this is actually turn 3 and 4.
I think at the lap prior, maybe. We'll see. We'll do one more go around. You see, they are door-to-door and have been for a moment. Short tracks are hard to find the replays on. Oh! Yeah, that'll do it.
Wow. Almost into the gap of the wall, too. Whew.
Yeah, he almost went clean out to the next... The fact that iRacing doesn't populate the gate that's supposed to be there is fascinating to me. Because there is a wall there. Like, you can't just drive out of the track there. But visually, it feels like you absolutely can. But let's take another look at this. I don't know if the front nose of the car get a little disrupted by the 121 here. Or no, he maybe just got loose. I think he just lost it.
Exactly. I think it was a little overcorrection there as well. I mean, I think he was just right to the backside of Andrew Burrell, and it just ended up he had to overcorrect, and unfortunately that sent him as a torpedo out into out into Ethan Decatur.
So several cars coming down pit road here as the green flag back in the air. Morton and Halterman roar into turn 1. You see Paz trying to get back on track here. He's going to lose at least a lap from that. You see Halterman hanging to the outside of Morton. No one's been able to take the lead away from the Ohio State machine, but I tell you what, that UNC Charlotte car, Clint Halterman, has been glued to his back bumper every chance he's had.
And I'm looking at another green car in Alex Hallinar. I mean, he's right now battled his way up through the field to the top 3 and down to the back bumper of Clint Halterman. So Halterman, outside of trying to pass Matthew Morton, he also has pressure from behind from Alex Hallinar. As you see a battle going on, Garrett fighting Drew Williams, Lucas Moody. Moody was a little loose. He's able to save it.
Got a little bit of contact, completely stacked up the field behind him, though. And now everyone's scrambling, trying to get it sorted. That was dicey, to say the least, as they're going to try and get this sorted out more. They are still 2x2 for 3 rows deep as Michael James almost lost it off of 4. These cars are just sliding on a glacier right now.
Yeah, and I think it's this unique matchup of car and track. I mean, we've never seen this car on this track in real life before, and the CIL is here having some fun with it. As you can see, it's really proving who has that throttle control and who's getting, too antsy with it in these battles. You see Drew Williams is not antsy right now behind Jason Wallet, stuck and trying to get past Lucas Moody. Moody, without that front bumper, is able to stay to the outside.
Oh boy, Williams boxed in, almost got can opener there in between Lucas Moody and Athena Leclerc. He'll settle back into the 9th position, and cars starting to string out just a little bit here, and I think that's what everyone needs for right now, just a second to breathe and figure out where they're at in line so they can start trying to set up the moves they need to make to work their way toward the front. You see everything starting to get single filed out. As we jump back up, though, you see more cars trying to get off of pit road, and now this little battle developing for 3rd. Garrett Fighton, he's up 7 spots from 11th. He was the LCQ winner, even though that wasn't really a last chance qualifier. It was more just seeding the back half of the field. But he has worked his way up into P4, just trailing Alex Hallinar, who's up 5 spots. So both of these drivers doing a great job working their way toward the front of the field right now. They're finding a good bit of success, I'd have to say.
Oh, definitely. I think they're probably 2 of the most consistent drivers in this field outside of Clint Holtz and Matthew Morton. As you see this battle right now, Athena Leclerc, Drew Williams for the 8th position. Athena got into Drew a couple laps earlier, and now Drew's trying to fend back against Athena. Athena's taking that inside line, able to get a nose out in front, but Drew's able to use a little bit of that momentum of the outside line to get back alongside. But it looks like Athena washes up a little bit, but they're going to still stay nose to nose going into one.
Some great side-by-side action. Oh, boy. That was a 99% clear move there from the 61. A little bit of contact off the nose of the 100. But Leclerc will muscle away the 8th spot from Drew Williams. And the Clemson driver is going to fall to 9th, making the Clemson 9-10 as he's got teammate Andrew Burrow behind him. Well, that was a good pass there from the 61. The way you got to do it at the short track, so you can't give him any room, is the 100 super loose has to lock it down. And he's going to lose a ton of spots going into turn 1.
And I think Drew's going to be using that to try and formulate a plot to get back within the top 10 now, as you see Garrett Vighton is back up to Alex Hallinar, but now we have a new battle going on here for the 4th position. Zachary DeWale has joined the party to the backside of Garrett Vighton, and these 3 are still trying to track down the top 2 who really have not gotten away from each other.
So you see there, Hallinar, Vighton, DeWale, 3, 4, 5. They are all starting to lose out on ground a little bit to Morton and Halterman. And those 2 are about a second clear of this battle for 3rd on back. Jared Kaler running 6th, looking like Ricky Paz in the LCQ. No front end to that UNC Charlotte machine. And then Jason Wallet runs ahead of Leclerc, Burl, and Cade Corbin, rounding the top 10 right now. Once Drew Williams fell down to 12th, getting loose off the 4. This is the moment now. You got 55 laps to go next time by. Everything's kind of found, every car has found their spot on track for the moment. This is when you go focus on your entries and exits, really try and set up the car in front of you, and you don't have to try and muscle everything by as there's a wreck deeper in the field, burls around. The 121 got tagged, I think, by Cade Corbin.
Man, oh man. That car looks like it got a little bit of, definitely some help. I feel like there's been a thief of front bumpers here today, and I'm surprised Andrew Burl isn't one of them that lost their front bumper, so we'll have to see what happens between him and Cade Corbin. But, I mean, going into the halfway mark, a lot of these drivers are settled in, and we'll have to see here as Burl, Corbin battling out on track, going through 3 and 4. Corbin to the back bumper of Burl. It looks like this battle has been set up a little bit. As you can see, it looks like Burl washed up a little bit. Corbin was coming through the corner with some steam. And it might have been, in my opinion, I think Burl might have been trying to get in front of Corbin. But, Edward Sanchez gets another hit.
Yeah, so we'll jump on board here with the 08. You see as they get down toward the apron, just got in there. Maybe a little hot. The 121 washed up the track a little bit. Certainly one of those things that absolutely can happen at any track, but when it's at a place like Lanier where there's such little room going through the corner, those kind of slight discrepancies in line and in speed can have far more dire consequences than if we were running at a place like Michigan or Auto Club where you have a lot of room to roam. But here we go. We're going to get this thing going. Halfway mark right here. And that is Halterman and Morton. Halterman almost got the jump on Morton, but almost too much so. Had to actually get back out of the throttle to make sure he didn't pass the Ohio State machine coming to the start-finish line. And they'll find himself settling into P2 as DeWale runs that outside to great effect. He might take away P3 from Hallinar.
I mean, Garrett Vighton falls back to 11th, and here's Zachary DeWale trying to get on the podium now. But we see Jared Kaler in the fight right now between him and DeWale on the inside. DeWale's able to use that turn 4 advantage on that outside line to get in front of Kaler. But now Jason Wallet to the outside of Kaler as well.
You're seeing a little bit of side-by-side action. Wallet and Kaler, the battle for 5th. Kaler in the 58 on the inside, scored number 1 on the pylon. Up top, it is the 76 of Jason Wallet trying to also fend off Athena Leclerc, who has been trying to pick up a couple more spots over these past few laps. And it looks like Wallet going to maybe lose out on this battle here. He's losing a little bit of ground every lap to Leclerc. There would be an opportunity to potentially file in front of teammate Michael James if he's able to find that gap, but he is not trying to give up the 6th position if he can help it. He is trying to keep that car afloat on the outside line right now. And it looks like teammate from Drexel going to go up the hill with him. So potentially a couple of Drexel cars here on the outside opens the door for Jake Cummings, who's off the lead lap here, to try and advance position.
I mean, these drivers at short tracks, you got to hit your marks, and I think it's a great show of who is consistent and who might, you know, be trying to help that throughout the season. You see Drew Williams following Jake Cummings through this battle as Jason Wallet is now stuck on the outside, really just, you know, trying to get to that inside line. Has been losing position after position, and now Jake Cummings, Drew Williams, and potentially might see Michael James let him into the inside line. Drew Williams is still down there, but it looks like Drew's able to clear the Drexel machine. So now we got a Drexel 7-8. Whoa!
Oh, and now Jake Cummings goes around the 95. Gonna bring the caution back out. I don't know if he went around or had some help, but it has been a forgettable Riverhead 100 here with the Converse University machine. Struggles in the opening couple laps, and now another situation in 1 and 2 here on lap 61.
Taking a look back, you see Drew Williams was pasted to the backside of Jake Cummings and a little too much push to the backside of the 95. You see Converse is going to get pushed up through turns 3 and 4, and it's going to spin around, look in the wrong direction here. As you see, Burl is able to narrowly escape, got some paint skims off there, but it doesn't look like too much damage for the 121.
It also looks like a lot of cars have just come down pit road to put on fresh tires. Notably not Matthew Morton, but Clint Halterman, Alex Hallinar, Zach Doyle, all look like they made their way down pit road. So several cars going to try and put on fresh tires for the final 35 laps or so here. Will that be enough to try and create a bit of a pace difference with the Ohio State machine? He's led from pillar to post so far, and only about 37 more laps he'll need to hold on.
And I mean, oh, there's some contact. Whoa, going in the pit lane.
I think the 08 of Cade Corbin just got stuck on the wall right as the 95 tried getting around him, and they all basically got fixed in place, like someone just hit control freeze on them.
All of that just to get the field sorted here for the restart, but
that was something. I don't know if I've ever seen that. It truly looked like someone just glued his car there the moment I passed by. And there's a wreck on the restart. Halterman's around.
That was a hard hit for Halterman.
Oh boy, and he was really one of the fastest cars in the field coming to this point. He was running basically second since the drop of the green flag, and now he's going to have a lot of work to do.
I mean, it was a chaotic restart from the beginning. As you can see, he just looks like he got loose in front of, I think that's Zachary the Whale, potentially.
Yeah, it looked like the car he tried throttling up right on corner exit and just got loose, and into the fence he went. Field was a little spread out.
He almost took his UNC Charlotte teammate and Jared Kaler with him, but that overcorrection threw him into that outside wall. I mean, we'll take a look here again from Zachary DeWale's point of view. Just absolute, a lovely lick into that outside wall.
It has certainly been an event so far here at Lanier. A lot of cars who have not had days they would have liked. It's been a challenge for the drivers out there trying to keep this car planted in one place. But we're going to have a very interesting mix-up at the front with some of these cars coming down pit road and then Halterman spinning around. We find Andrew Burl on the front row with Matthew Morton, Garrett Byton, Jared Kaler, row 2, Zach DeWale, Alex Hallinar, row 3. Daniel Leclerc, Ethan Decatur, row 4. Drew Williams, Jason Wallet rounding out the top 10 as they get ready to roll once again. Matthew Morton has been unchallenged to this point as far as someone actually trying to pry that lead away. Halterman been one of the only cars who've really been able to keep pace. The 121, an awful restart, going to lose out several positions. And now here comes Garrett Vighton to the back bumper of Morton.
I think if it wasn't Clint Halterman or Alex Hallinar, Vighton also has been fast all day. I mean, Vighton has been probably one of the fastest here. And you can see Andrew Burrow in the 121 is now just stuck on the outside lines. We have a new change for the lead. Garrett Vighton takes it away from Matthew Morton. First time someone has done that today, and you're trying to see Zachary DeWale take advantage as well. But Matthew Morton's able to close off that battle, as you see an on deck cam here with Matthew Morton.
Matthew Morton from Ohio State settling back in to P2. He has not come down pit road when a lot of the other cars in the field did. And I think that might be part of the difference we're seeing. The cornering speed for the 55 just a little bit faster than the Ohio State car right now, and we're seeing Vighton start to pull away. Zach DeWale, though, I think has also come down pit road. It'll be critical for him to try and find a way around the Ohio State machine sooner rather than later if he is going to keep pace with Garrett Vighton, who is off to a really good gap here. Half a second he's opened up over the OSU driver.
But one thing to note, as you can see, Zachary DeWale gives a little bump to Matthew Morton. Morton's able to keep it on that low line nonetheless. There is some lap traffic in front of Garrett Vighton, so I think that's saving these guys right now from Vighton just pulling away. But right now, 7/10 of a second, you see Zachary DeWale definitely wants to get around Matthew Morton. So you see that Ohio State machine is just a brick wall. As you see, DeWale's going to try and use the outside lane, which is going to give Stino Leclerc the opportunity to look to the inside, but DeWale's going to shut that door.
Yeah, St. Clair College running 3rd and 4th right now. They're trying to find a way past the Buckeye. And DeWale has just been hammering on his back bumper lap after lap here, trying to nudge him out of the way. But that number 5 has been planted to the racetrack, even though it may be slightly down on pace from what the 519 or the 61 could be doing on those fresher tires right now. So a great little battle developing here, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. More cars starting to get involved as you see Jared Kaler reels in the back bumper of Athena Leclerc. So more cars joining the party as you see Hallinar in the mix there as well. This is some real short track action. Everybody running nose to tail through the corner, trying to find when they can make their move. It is easier said than done out there because you only have a moment to think before you're diving right back into that corner. Oh, and DeWale pushed Morton up and out of the way. That's going to do it. He'll move up in the P2. And now Leclerc to the inside as well. Morton going to be hard-pressed to try and hold on to positions here, stuck on the outside.
And as you say, I mean, those old tires showing their wear, but, I mean, these guys only have one set of tires, but I think it's too late for Matthew Morton to even try and use a new set. As you can see, Kaler's now to the inside of the Ohio State machine, taking that 4th place away, and now Alex Harnar is going to try and use the momentum as well to take 5th place away. As you can see, he's now to the inside of the the Ohio State machine.
See, and this is the thing, when especially on the older tire, when you get shuffled out to the outside lane and you can't get back down to the bottom, you can have a really tough time here, as we're seeing right now with that OSU machine. Now, going to slide back into 6th just in front of Drew Williams. Finally, an opportunity to get back down to the apron. But the damage has been done, falling out of the top 5 here. Now a little bit loose, but a good save keeps it going ahead of the Clemson machine. But meanwhile, as we take kind of a gander up toward the front of the field just to get a sense of how long Garrett Vighton was able to stay ahead.
Caution.
The caution's out. I'll save that tangent for another day. Is Ethan Decatur around with 15 to go. And boy, does that change the complexion of things. So 1 second gap that the 55 had just evaporated.
Yeah, Vighton is definitely not going to be happy with that one. He is probably fuming, as, he potentially was trying to go for a sweep of the LCQ and the main event. And right now, I mean, Ethan Decatur looks like slow on track. We'll have to see what happened to him. So you can see the field is now coming up behind. It looks like also Zachary DeWale was catching up to the ASU machine. So maybe, I mean, this is probably DeWale saving grace.
There wasn't a lot of time left, but I don't really know if he would have had enough time to get there and the time he was closing in. And you see, it looks like Decatur just got loose, tried saving it, got up into the fence, and came right back down in front of Ricky Paz and Jake Cummings. Yeah, that will trigger the caution every time. That could have been really bad for the 111. He's lucky he didn't get collected by anyone else there diving into the corner.
And I mean, this season 12 is going to have pretty much a short track sandwich, as we have tonight's race and then Bristol second to last race. So these guys won't really have any more short track experience until race 13, I believe, of the season.
So the lights are off on the pace car. It'll be 10 laps to go, this time by Garrett Buyton, Zach DeWale. Gonna battle on the front row. Him and Leclerc, Jared Kaler, row 2. Leclerc in a really good spot here to potentially get around their St. Clair teammate, being that second car on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Here we go in the 1 and 2.
It's a great start for St. Clair. As you see, they're trying to keep it 2 on the podium in second and third right now. Leclerc's able to keep that third position. Now Alex Hallinar to the inside of Jared Kaler.
Door to door, Binghamton and UNC Charlotte. Gonna try and run in here on P5. Garrett Buyton gonna do what he can to try and hold on to the lead. Laps ticking away. Zach DeWale right on his bumper. Athena Leclerc right on his. Who is it gonna be up at the front of the field?
Well, right now it looks like Matthew Morton has made his way back up to the top 6. I believe he took some tires there in the last caution. He's trying to use it to his advantage. As you can see, he's looking to the inside of Jared Kaler. Kaler tries to shut the door and gets loose. Is now sliding up turn 3. It's going to cause a caution. Ooh,
that is, that's a big one. That is for sure.
I think that's going to set us up for a green-white checker. What's that?
Caution was on 94. Oh, they might be going with like a lap to go. I don't know if they've set a green-white checkered here for the clash. That much I don't know. It did not say in the race control that did trigger not an LCQ. I've been saying that acronym all night. A green-white checkered. So I think they're gonna go green with like a lap or 2 left just by default.
You can see Wallet and Drew getting into it, but the action's right in front of them here. As you can see, Matthew Morton looking to the inside. I think Kaler tried to close the door that Matthew Morton was there. And Drew gets airborne, 2 wheels off the ground and headlong into the outside wall, barely nudging.
So laps continue to tick away. We're keeping an eye on when the lights are off on the pace car. Lights are off now. So when they go green, there will be 2 laps to go, naturally occurring. Green, white, checkered, if you will. Garrett Buyton has to hold on for 2 more laps. And this naturally occurring green, white, checkered presented by the McConey Setup Shop, your home for paint schemes, coaches, setup shops, or setups, and more. As the green flag is out, 2 laps to go to settle the clash here at Lanier. Garrett Buyton for Arizona State, Zach DeWale from St. Clair College. Here we go, going in the 3 and 4. The 55 earned. Everyone can openers at the front of the field. The massive wreck. Hallinar upside down. And no caution brought out. Final lap. The white flag is out. Matthew Morton has taken the lead. What has happened here? Matthew Morton is going to win the Riverhead 100 under grounds of, how is that not a yellow?
But Clint Halterman also ends up second.
Clint ended up second too. Unreal.
Athena Leclerc third. Michael James in his first CIL race ends up 4th.
And Ethan Decatur, for the day he had, somehow finds 5th. I'm sorry. There was a straight-up 7-car collision in turns 3 and 4, and iRacing just said, "Nah, it's fine."
You know,
have you ever?
It wouldn't be the Clash without some craziness, right?
Yeah, really. So congratulations to Matthew Morton from Arizona, or from Ohio State. Sorry. The Buckeyes find victory lane here to kick this off. I'm at a loss for words, to be entirely honest with you, Brad. That was. Let's take a look at this replay. I need to see it again before I say anything else.
Wait, Morton EOL? Hold on. That's some. We'll look into that afterwards. But starting with just the restart, Garrett Vighton gets to a huge start, and it looks like this is really the least of our concerns. You can see going in turn 3. It looks like some just domino effect between the two St. Clair cars. It looks like DeWale gets into Vighton, Leclerc gets into DeWale. Morton's able to pass by along with Clint as you see Hallinar goes headlong into the wall with Jason Wallet.
Yeah, and then this washes back down, contact there and then I'm looking at this. More cars end up wrecking here on the final lap that isn't even involved in this, because Michael James ends up 4th, but he was like the 6th or 7th car that went by there. And it looks like Kaler gets pushed around here, or either loses it or gets pushed off or something. And then Hallinar ends up in the fence somehow. Oh my goodness.
There's just so much to unravel in just literally not even a mile.
Not even, yeah, I want to say not even half, but it's slightly more than half a mile. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to take a look at this a couple more times, get this sorted, and hear from Race Control who our official winner is tonight. So we'll be right back with the podium finishers and your final results. You certainly won't want to miss it, because we don't think we know exactly what those are yet. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Welcome back from what was a crazy clash here at Lanier. What a trip that was, a crazy sequence in the closing laps. We're receiving word that it sounds like, from what we can gather, that probably should have been a caution that came out at some point. I don't know how that was. That's just my own thoughts, though. But it sounds like Matthew Morton actually received was supposed to receive an EOL for the incident with Kaler back on lap 94 that set up the naturally occurring green-white checkered, but was not able to serve that before the restart. So it was issued after as a post-race EOL, which would invalidate the win, I think. So I think Clinton Halterman is the winner of this race. But again, this is all said very loosely because I don't entirely know, but I'm like 80% sure that it's officially been determined that Clint Halterman is being credited as the winner of this one.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Alex. I can't. It seems like there was just a lot of crazy things that happened here in Lanier, and this less than a 3/8 track serves a lot of calamity, much like the LA Coliseum or really any of these tracks that are just super short.
So let's take a look at the results right now. Sorry that I sound so confused. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what we've just witnessed there. So Matthew Morton obviously credited as the winner here, but the post-race EOL I think will move it to Clint Halterman, who finishes just ahead of Athena Leclerc from from St. Clair College, UNC Charlotte, the winner there with Clint Halterman. Michael James from Drexel going to sneak into P3 just ahead of Ethan Decatur, Jason Wallet, Jared Kaler, Zach DeWale, Andrew Burrell, Garrett Vighton. Your top 9, I suppose you could say. Matthew Morton, I think, would get shuffled a lap down, so he'd be the first car off the lead lap. There's a lot going on here, folks. I do apologize. Preseason for me up here in the booth as well as the folks running down there, but we're trying to get confirmation on that. But Brad, to save me from the spiral I'm falling into here, let him know the back half of the results.
Definitely, Alex. I mean, DOL is definitely going to put Matthew Morton actually in 10th. And then after that, you can see Alex Hallinar after that near flip in turn 3 ends up in the 11th spot from Binghamton. Edward Sanchez battling all night from Baruch ends up 12th. Ricky Paz from East Carolina University ends up 13th. Drew Williams from Clemson ends up 14th. Jake Cummings, last season's Final Four contender from Converse, ends up 15th. Cade Corbin from the University of Alabama Huntsville ends up 16th. Lucas Moody from Ball State ends up 17th.
And yeah, that's the field. So we'll jump now. We'll pull in what we believe is the winner of tonight's race, the 007 of Clint Halterman.
On that race,
you got a copy.
I got a copy. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Sorry to cut you off in the conversation there with the interview waiting room. Clint, I don't really know where to start, to be entirely honest with you. So I think I'll just leave this as an open-ended. How are you feeling right now? What did you see from your perspective there on the green-white checkered?
I keep laughing. That was so funny. I think I just got the lucky dog, or I don't know. I think I got the lucky dog the lap of the caution before, and then that restart I was able to not be behind everybody, so I actually restarted with the lead lap guys. And I mentioned in our team, I said, "Don't worry, I can win the race. Everyone just has to wreck in front of me." And well, that's that's exactly what happened. I just I don't know. I just got to the bottom, and then everyone wrecked in front of me, and then I knew Morton was maybe possibly going to get a penalty, and then I got like sideways off of. I got like onto the apron coming off of turn 4, coming to take the white, and that got me really squirrely going to turn 1. So I basically spent the entire final lap trying not to wreck, even though I was almost wrecking because I knew I needed to finish second because I thought maybe Warren was going to get a penalty. So yeah, I just got to the bottom. Everyone cleaned themselves out, and it's just all skill, really. I think that's how I won that race.
You know, Clint, when I think of your very heroic drive at Watkins Glen a couple years ago, holding off Jared Kaler, and then I think about your win here tonight at Lanier, I put them on equal weights in how much driver skill there was in the closing laps. But I obviously I kid. It was you had to give yourself a chance, and that's exactly what you did. And we knew you were fast all night. I mean, you ran, top 2 for the better part of 60, 70 laps or so before the incident on the restart. Talk to us a little bit about what happened on that restart that got you behind the 8 ball in the first place.
I think I just got too excited. I think Drew had pitted the caution before, and he was saying that 2 tires felt really good, or 2 right side tires felt really good. And at that point, I was like, we were like 3 or 4 tenths off of the best times. So I was just like, man, screw it. It's a non-points race is the Clash. Let me just come. I didn't think I was gonna beat Borden anyway. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna pit, and I actually drug a lot of people down. And yeah, then I came out 6th, and I think I just got too excited because I was on newer tires, and I knew I had a pace advantage, and I stepped on the gas, and then I just wrecked myself into the wall. And then I honestly didn't even need to pit, really. I had like 3-4 minutes of optionals, but the pace it didn't affect the pace at all. The car felt the exact same, and I almost got out of the car, just called it quits after I went a lap down. I was like, nah, let me just keep going just to see what happens, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, that was I went from 0 to hero real quick, I guess. Just making a fool of myself by looping off on the restart like that. But then it all turned around for me, so that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to watch back the broadcast because I bet that was a very interesting perspective for y'all.
I don't know if I can express the utter bewilderment that came from my voice in the final 2 laps. I'm afraid to watch it back myself because I'm probably just going to sound like I have no idea what's happening. Because it's true, I had no idea what was happening.
Me neither. I didn't know. I was driving the car. I didn't know what was happening. So.
Well, Clint, I guess I'll ask you real quick. Anyone, if you want to shout out tonight, now would be the time to celebrate one of the more surprising victories I think we've seen here in the College Cup Series. Anyone you'd like to give some thanks to?
Yeah, I just want to, of course, shout out the OWR drivers. Shout out Jared for, I guess, being in the position to where Morton gave him too big of a bump and spinning him and giving him the EOL, which gave me the win. And shout out to Zach. I think he was super fast. I think if some things played out, he was probably gonna win that race there at the end. But yeah, shout out to them, and shout out to y'all, of course, for starting the new season, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Alrighty, well, Clint, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. I'm sure you will savor every minute of it, and we're looking forward to seeing you on track for the season opener next week.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, and that was race winner Clinton Halterman, which will bring us to Brad Daniels, who's catching up with second place Athena Leclerc.
Well, I'm down here with Athena Leclerc from St. Clair. Athena, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Athena, we saw you battling all night. It was a lot of tough battles. Take us through your night and the closing laps.
Honestly, I was battling tight the entire race. The outside lane was not really the best, and I got stuck up there for a lot of the race. Luckily, when we had the one caution, I was able to get tires, and it seems like I was like the only person that got four, so I just had a really good advantage at the end.
And then looking forward here, are you going to take anything from this race tonight, looking into the regular season, or is it just one to write off and move on to the next one?
Honestly, I'm happy to be back. I took a year-long hiatus, and I'm just here to have fun.
And then looking forward to this season, after your hiatus here, is there any race that you're looking forward to this season, any particular track, or is it just going to be taking it 1 week at a time?
Honestly, I'm excited for the road courses. I don't know what it is, but with the next gen, I'm just better on road courses than I am on ovals. Obviously tonight's a bit different, finishing second, but I think I'll do good at the road courses, especially Watkins Glen.
And we're ready to see all of the great racing you're going to offer us here in the regular season. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my rallycross team, Kieran Lifflander Racing. Those guys pulled me in last year, and they've been helping me develop as a driver, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now without them.
Well, absolutely. Thank you, Athena, again for joining us here tonight, and we can't wait to see you in the regular season.
Thank you.
And we will send it back up to Alex in the booth with our third place driver, Michael James.
Michael James, who may or may not be here momentarily. I'll give that like 30 seconds or so. But while we take a second, we'll see if we can just take a second to talk about the race that was, and really that was a whole event that unfolded at the end there. I mean, I still don't know entirely what I witnessed there. But it was a ton of fun. It seemed like the drivers enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
seems like we. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brad, and then we'll pull in Michael James here.
No, you could just pull in Michael. I was just gonna say this was pretty much a crazy race.
Yeah, no, that's I couldn't agree more. So let's see if we can talk here with our third place finisher. Hey there, Michael. You got a copy?
Cool.
Well, he was, and then he went back. That is a good question. Unless he keeps hitting the join voice on the other one. See if I can try this one more time here. Hey there, Michael. You got a copy? Seems like having some slight audio issue. We're trying to see if we can connect here with Michael. It just looks like he might be muted on his side. Gonna give it another second or two here. Alrighty, well, that was we gave it a go. But we'll try it. Maybe we'll try and talk to Michael to kick off the regular season or something next week, so he doesn't miss out on the opportunity. But maybe just not tonight while we're trying to get that sorted. But that'll take us to post race coverage here tonight. Brad, any upcoming races that the people should know about?
Yeah, I mean, we outside of the CCS, I mean, we have the Formula Series at Motorsport Arena Oderslaben Wednesday, January 15th here. Right here on the CIL. Along with that, we have a new series starting up. It won't have coverage tomorrow, but the short track showdown will start at Martinsville. For anyone that wants to join the short track showdown, feel free to join the disc. And the next race of the Garage Shop College Cup Series, of course, in the regular season first race, Charlotte Motor Speedway here next Monday. Coverage starts at 8:30 as always with the Ignition Zone pre-race show. As always, please join us, and back to Alex up in the booth.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I want to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast here of the Garage Shop College Cup Series live on the CIL YouTube. It's been a blast bringing this one, and we're excited to bring you the regular season opener next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. For all the folks here at the CIL, for producer Christian Hill, co-commentator Brad Daniels, I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for joining, and we will catch you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.